I'm so excited that you are writing a book. It's like all my little prayers at nighttime have been answered. Let Blake Hester write a fucking book.
To tell the story of Guitar Hero 1 and not tell the story of, say, like Guitar Hero 3.
Oh,
you know,
that's my
or
fave.
Rock Band Beatles, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how crazy it was when those games were coming out live at the time.
Yeah.
Just even like, I'm trying to think of another game series where it was so focused on like peripheral controllers and stuff like that. Like, oh, you need this, this, and this, and this to really experience everything. And people bought it. It wasn't just like, oh, the Wii Fit, and I played Wii Fit for one day, blah, and they feel kind of guilty after. It was like, I bought Rock Band, and I'm freaking rocking out with my friends every night after school. It's fun, long-term thing.
I think like something people have to realize or think about when you think about something like the impact of Guitar Hero is like, obviously video games are pop culture, but I think it's actually rare for a video game to change pop culture, which is like, seems like a weird distinction.
Pokemon Go,
what I mean is like
things.
Exactly. That's such a good example. That's there. You can like point to these tinpole, Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go. A recent one is Fortnite, and Guitar Hero is such a prime example of like the sales of albums and songs on like iTunes and whatnot, like are crazy. Like if you look up the sales data, I think like Dragon Forces Through the Fire and Flames, like the sales went up like 800 some odd %.
Yeah.
Probably because maybe that song wasn't a big deal until Guitar Hero. But like, you know, I think it's in the lead of my original story, like how like Rock Band, Guitar Hero, Aerosmith sold better than every Aerosmith album combined or something. And like it's like, it's one of those things you kind of have to like really think about. It's like, oh yeah, like this had a profound impact on pop culture, which makes the way it was, you know, beat to death and like quickly disappeared all the more stunning and like slightly appalling from just like a capitalistic standpoint. That it's like, Jesus, you can really ruin a good thing that quickly. Yeah, I think that's like one of the most fascinating things about Guitar Hero is like even 2 decades later, like I remember Vice had this mini doc with Post Malone, who's like, you know, one of the biggest freaking artists in the world right now.
Yeah.
And he like, I don't think he would 100% credit it, but like he talked about like his early entry into making music was like, I was just really into Guitar Hero. I was like, that's crazy. Like that's beyond being like, Mario's at the Japan airport. Video games are pop culture. It's like you know what I'm saying?
That
like,
video
games are pop culture,
someone,
but yeah, like so many musicians were created, whether big or small, bar bands or literally one of the biggest artists in the world, because Alex Rogopoulos and Iran Agozi met at MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts. You know, like video games are pop culture, but few video games change pop culture. And I think like because of that, Guitar Hero and Rock Band, like that is a history worth preserving, to blow smoke up my own ass a bit, in book form. Like that's important. That story should be out there. And I just find myself in the fortunate position to hopefully tell that story.
Another really fun thing I think about sometimes is how it probably, further on that train, it probably aided in mechanical skills to then allow people to become musicians. Like,
that's interesting.
Not directly, because I'm not saying you play Guitar Hero and
Sure.
you can pick up a guitar and play guitar. It's like very different. But you learn muscle memory things, and like half the difficulty of playing guitar is like your fingers don't do what you want them to do. And if you start ripping on Guitar Hero, your fingers will get better at flexibility and moving around fast and training your brain to move it here
Sure.
if you think this and blah blah blah. And everyone always has anecdotes with Guitar Hero and those kind of games too, which makes it more fun. Like I remember I was playing Guitar Hero and I got interested in guitar because of Guitar Hero. Like, I didn't become no Post Malone because I'm also not musically talented, but it like was enough to make me care about learning music outside of just what they forced me to do in school. Because my parents wanted me to take piano. I was like, this is boring. They made me take clarinet for like 2 months and I was like, I want to die. Take me out. Like, you know, I just had zero interest in music, but this actually gave me an avenue to be like, maybe I do could do this. I ended up not, but at least there was like a crack in a door, and I tried it. And I remember my uncle,
and I mean,
like loves guitars, like played in a band, has like 15 guitars in his basement, super music dude. And he like came over, he's like, I'll start teaching guitar. And like the first couple lessons, he was like blown away by I didn't know where all the keys were, but mechanically I could move my fingers around a lot. And he was like, oh my
you
God.
had dexterity.
Yeah, I had dexterity. He's like, I thought we were gonna need to practice like how to move. I was like already moving to all the things. And that was completely Guitar Hero, 100%, because I had never played another string instrument before that.
As a big believer of the arts, a supporter of the arts.
Whoa.
I mean, I think like that like that
Brave.
is like so culturally right. But like I do think like that is so culturally important.
Yeah.
Like to interest not just kids, but really anyone into creating art, whether it's recreationally or professionally, whatever the case may be. You know, like a garage band or a virtuoso, like it doesn't matter. And that like speaks to the power of something like what Guitar Hero and Rock Band did. Like they are culturally significant because they created artists. Like not a lot of people get to do that. Not a lot of creators get to say that in their career. Just because I wrote stories that were good, like I don't know that I created artists. You know what I'm saying? I'd love if I did. However, like I think like that's something like you have to celebrate about something like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Is like more art was put into the world because they existed, and like the world is better for that.
It's an art and a tool, which is like
not
all
exactly.
art is tools and not all tools are art, but this was both, which is rare.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. It was just, it was like a game you play and also something that could teach you to do something else if you were so inclined. Like you didn't have to go become a guitar player and whatever, but it opened the door a little bit. Not a lot of stuff does that for other forms of art.
To your point, though, I mean, like the Rock Band drum kit is effectively just a drum kit.
True.
Like that could teach you the fundamentals of drum. Guitar Hero, playing a Guitar Hero controller will not teach you anything beyond like giving you some finger dexterity. Like you're not going to learn even a power chord through it. Playing Rock Band drums. Not even when I
lift it up in the air and everything turns neon?
No, not even.
Damn
it might teach you how to look freaking sweet playing the guitar, but like that's about it. But like the drums, like it will like kind of start to teach you the fundamentals of them because it's like just kind of a drum kit.
Yeah.
Like that rocks. That's super cool. There's Rocksmith though, where you plug from Ubisoft. Remember that you plug your guitar like somehow into your freaking PlayStation.
No, what's
and it teaches
that?
you how to play guitar.
I've never heard of that.
Ah man, people love Rocksmith. I've never played it, but like it teaches you how to play guitar, and you like use your actual guitar as a controller. It's crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know how it works.
So, Groffle Waffle says, just here to say I've pledged and I'm excited for the long form book. I really hope success, so more will be done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hold on. Let me refresh my page. There it is. I see it right there. Thank you. Thank you. It went up one.
Perfect. Man,
appreciate it.
Yeah, no, that's see, like even just, you touch on it for a second and there's all this, like so many discussions can happen around these types of games. And you're right. Like, like things don't really games are weird. It's like, how come that doesn't get properly discussed upon, like in the way that you're talking about? Something about games, it's always just been like, that's cute over there. Anyways, let's write this 10 million page dissertation on Renaissance art, which like valid Renaissance art's, you know what I mean? It's like, it's weird how certain forms of art can almost get more care in capturing them in their moment in time of their popularity and stuff like that, which I'm sure Kelsey would agree.
Sure. I mean, look, you have me on a different episode of Bonus Pod. We could talk about this all day. I might go beyond the pale, but it might go beyond the pale of just this conversation. But like, I don't necessarily know if I agree all games are art, but I definitely think some games
we've
are
had
art.
this debate before. This was a whole game query episode, wasn't it? I feel like we were screaming at each other right at the end of it.
Yeah. I do, however, believe, and it's unfortunate the way history played out with it, but like I do think Guitar Hero and Rock Band, everything Neversoft and Red Octane and Harmonix and everyone else did was like extremely, and Activision, I guess, was like
I'm tacking on Activision
worth,
at the end.
That's legitimate history. That's entertainment history. That's worth knowing and like talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose it's worth crowdfunding on platforms such as vol.co. History is worth crowdfunding, if you ask me.
Please go support Blake's book. I know I'm biased because Blake's my friend and I love him and he's a lovely dude and just so nice. He's good at writing. If you made a book, literally coffee table, top of the pile. You know how you always have like 10 in a row? Blake's would be sitting on top. I would love if his book got more support. So please go to the link in the description or the link in chat. Check out Blake's book, see if you're interested, and support the dude.
Please. That's it. I'm incredibly excited. I'm incredibly fortunate. And I hope that in 10 days, our funding will be successful and I'll be writing a book about Guitar Hero.
Oh, please go fund this thing. I want it to be funded so bad. It'll be so good.
This was just a clip from our Patreon exclusive podcast called Bonus Pod. If you support MinnMax on Patreon at the $5 tier, you unlock Bonus Pod each and every week. Haley McLean is joined by cohorts to talk about whatever they want. It's kind of the sister show, the companion show to the MinnMax Show podcast. So there's even more content in here. Also, we take calls from members of the community and we can really dive into the weeds on stuff. So if you want to more than double the amount of podcasts from MinnMax every week, support MinnMax on Patreon at the $5 tier. Thanks so much.